Hi, everyone. I would like to thank you for attending our second Black Lives Matter Solidarity concert. My name is Molly Westlake. I am a junior at University of the Pacific, and I'm a music history major. And I would like to just thank all of you for being here. And I am extremely grateful that we were even able to plan a second concert and that we still had so much momentum and excitement for this one. And I think it's going to be a really great concert, and I'm really looking forward to it. Um, um, so start with one of our professors, faculty from University of the Pacific, Ricardo Martinez, saxophone professor, will be starting us off with Romance.
to see so many of you. I've missed you all, and at least we can see each other on the screen, right? The piece that you're going to hear next was written by Betty Jackson King. She is little known, but she was born in 1928 and lived until 1994. And she received bachelor's and master's degrees from Roosevelt University in piano and in composition. Most of her compositions are choral and vocal. Some of her spiritual arrangements were sung by artists like Kathleen Battle in a 1990 Carnegie Hall concert. But the piece that I am playing for you today is from her 4 seasonal sketches for piano. I'm unaware of these being published except for this movement that is Spring Intermezzo. She was probably most notable because of her teaching career. She dedicated her life to music education, and she taught in the Chicago public schools and in the Wildwood, New Jersey public schools. She was the first African-American teacher in Wildwood, New Jersey, in that district. And she received the Teacher Recognition Award from the governor later in her career. So she was a person that was very service-minded. The piece itself holds a really special place in my heart. I came across it about 10 years ago when I was working and living in Connecticut and in the New York metropolitan area. At that time, I was music director in a church that was remarkable, to say the least. When you looked out at the congregation, you saw Black, brown, Asian, white in about equal amounts. And my fairly small music department reflected all of that diversity. So we were always looking for music that represented us. And one Sunday we might sing Brahms, and another Sunday we would sing a Caribbean song with steel drums, and the week after it would be a spiritual. So it was very, very special. But the thing that struck me the most was the ability of these people to celebrate diversity. And they didn't ignore diversity. They seemed to enjoy it and to enjoy learning from one another. And they loved whoever came in the door. So the time that I spent with them marked my life in wonderful, wonderful ways. And when I hear this piece or when I play this piece, it reminds me of them. And it's a challenge to me to live the way that they lived. So I'm honored to be able to share this with you today, and I hope you enjoy it.
I have the pleasure of introducing this organization. This organization is so incredible. For nearly 20 years, this Detroit-based organization, which is the Sphinx organization, has been dedicated to the mission of transforming lives through the power of diversity in the arts. Their programs reach over 100,000 students in over 200 schools across the country and have provided over $4 million in scholarships to students and musicians. The organization itself has 6 ensembles for musicians to participate in and several programs to help raise awareness for communities of color. Both the ensembles and programs constantly tour the country to provide education and awareness to musicians of color. In 2016, the organization was one of 12 winners honored by the former First Lady Michelle Obama at the White House, where they received a 2016 National Arts and Humanities Youth Program Award. This award was the nation's highest honor for after-school and out-of-school time arts and humanities programs that celebrated the creativity of America's young people, particularly those from undeserved communities. Like I said earlier, this is a highly accomplished organization and it continues to grow and expand its impact every year. On their website, they have an intricate annual report that lays out every single achievement that they've accomplished for that year. And I spent maybe 15 minutes just reading through all the stuff that they have done. They have done so many great things, and that's available on their website. When we reached out to this organization, their artistic director requested that we play their overview video during the concert to best represent their work. This video can also be found on the homepage of their website, which is sphinxmusic.org. Thank you.
The perception that the talent isn't out there within communities of color is so deeply false in classical music.
Wow! Drop the mic! There are millions of kids like this in this country who do not have the resources to become everything that they could be. But fortunately, these programs are doing the job that the bigger society fails to do.
Sphinx's mission is transforming lives through the power of diversity in the arts. And we address the issue of lack of diversity and inclusion through a sense of a pipeline. We have Overture program. We place violins in the hands of young people for the first time.
I definitely believe that the Sphinx Overture program has made a difference in this community.
The Sphinx competition is our flagship program. It's a wholesome approach to musician development that goes beyond the competitive mechanism. Sphinx Connect is the epicenter for artists and leaders in diversity, devoted to the issues of inclusion, leadership, and career advancement. We have Sphinx Symphony, which is a professional, all African American and Latino orchestra. And then we have the Sphinx Virtuosi, which is an ensemble of soloists that performs across the country, everywhere from Carnegie Hall to Harris Theater in Chicago, and really communities beyond.
I think the Sphinx organization is so incredibly important. It tries to achieve in our society an equilibrium of people who are incredibly talented and motivated to be part of every aspect of our society.
Sphinx has done tremendous work over its first 20 years. And I think that over the next 20 years, Sphinx will truly transform the lives of millions of more people.
Hello, it's good to see everyone again, even though it is on Zoom. So today I will be playing A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke is a singer and a songwriter. The piece was released in 1964. This piece was actually, he wrote it because of all the racism that he was dealing with. He actually went to a motel in Louisiana with his wife, and they turned him away because it was a white hotel and they wouldn't let him in. So this was his time to say enough is enough, and I do really think we need to change. He was definitely a civil rights activist. The song was definitely a civil rights protest tune, and he definitely changed music for Black Americans through pop music. And this piece definitely gives an anthem towards hope, optimism, and change, and I definitely believe that's what the world needs today. So I hope you enjoy this video.
Up next, if you saw our graphics, they were designed by a friend of mine, Rebecca, and they featured original artwork by Kehinde Wiley, who is a contemporary artist in the US who's been working for many years now, and she is going to talk to us a little bit about him and his work.
Hi, everyone. Like Molly said, Kehinde Wiley is a New York-based artist that is most famously known for creating the painting of Barack Obama that now sits in the Smithsonian. Wiley is one of the first Black artists to be featured in the National Portrait Gallery alongside Amy Sherald, who I also recommend checking out. And he got his degrees from the San Francisco Art Institute and Yale. His style evokes this sense of like playful realism while also being deep and powerful. He weaves themes from classic art pieces by the old masters into his own artworks while maintaining his love for his own culture, showing how strong and beautiful Black Americans are. You can find him by looking him up or by checking out his Instagram, which is just his name as one word. I highly recommend it. His work is amazing, and I cannot recommend it enough.
Hi, my name is Jon Ivy. Today I'm going to be presenting a song called Freedom that I wrote. This song's about Black freedom and the ongoing struggle for equity and equality here in America. Speaking to America, why can't we see that I am free? Chained to this blackness, it's printed on my skin like a record. It follows me all the way to my tombstone. Fabric of a culture and some inedible landing. I look out and see vultures. They look down and see dollar signs. They look down and see dollar signs. I'm speaking to America. Why can't you see that I can't breathe? This is America. Is this what we call freedom? The right to be silent. Burned by my history, like the phoenix told the air. Cannot survive without distractions. And the institution built with dreams of conquest. Freedom to thrive. I wish that I could leave this dystopia, a story that's eclipsing my light. These segregated ways got me sunk down. Jordan said I gotta get out alive. Speaking to America. Why can't you see that I can't breathe? If this is America, is this what we call freedom? The right to be silent. Speaking to America. America, is this what we call freedom? The right to be silent. To America. Thank you. Why can't you see that I can't breathe? If this is America.
So I have the wonderful pleasure of introducing this piece. I'm so happy that we got to put this together. This piece means a lot to me, and I'm so happy that I'm able to share this with you guys. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the composer's history and the history of the piece itself. So if you know, Lift Every Voice and Sing was originally a poem that was put to music in 1905. They were brothers, so the author of the poem, his brother put music to it. So John Rosamond Johnson was the one that composed the music to it. It was first performed in public in the Johnsons' hometown of Jacksonville, Florida, as part of a celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday on February 12, 1900, by a choir of 500 school children. That's a lot of kids. At the segregated Stanton School, which currently serves as a highly achieved college preparatory school. Johnson was a well-known educator and a renowned performer. He made his acting debut in the first African-American show on Broadway, Oriental America, which premiered in 1897. In 1909, he helped establish a school in Harlem called the New York Music School Settlement for Colored People, since most music schools at the time excluded musicians of color. Throughout his life, he edited 4 collections of Black American music, including a book discussing the origin and history of more than 120 spirituals and how they were intertwined with African American history. Johnson continued to compose songs and instruct young people in music until his death in 1954. Lift Every Voice and Sing was written at a pivotal time when Jim Crow laws were replacing slavery and African Americans were searching for an identity. In 1919, the NAACP dubbed the hymn as the Black National Anthem for its power in voicing a cry for liberation and affirmation of African American people. At the time, many people expressed concerns that having 2 different national anthems, so the Star Spangled Banner and this Black National Anthem, would just cause a bigger divide amongst the nation by having one specifically be a Black national anthem. However, Shauna Redman, a professor of musicology and African American studies at UCLA, claims that the Star Spangled Banner is just not enough. She says, it's missing something. It's missing a radical history of inclusion. It's missing an investment in radical visions of the future of equality. Lift Every Voice and Sing allows us to acknowledge all of the brutalities, inhumanities, and dispossession that came with enslavement, that came with Jim Crow laws, that comes still today with disenfranchisement, police brutality, and the dispossession of education and resources. Lift Every Voice and Sing continues to announce that we see this brighter future, that we believe that something will change. I highly suggest reading the entire poem. I will put a link in the chat. You could read along to the song or just on your own. But here is Lift Every Voice and Sing. Thank you.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea, rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, and not our weary feet, come to the place for which our fathers sighed. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought to us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on. Let us march on. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on.
So the Black Arts Future Fund is an organization that promotes other organizations. So what that means is that they focus on small organizations that are centered around promoting and preserving Black arts and culture. So what they do for these organizations is they promote them to emerging philanthropists, as well as provide them with grants. So what these general operating grants do is that it helps them learn. So first off, they provide educational experience to every organization that they give a grant to. They provide a year-long learning experience for the organization to help them grow financially as well as gain stability. And then they promote these organizations to emerging philanthropists by providing an educational community so that they can better understand the importance of contributions to community-based arts and cultural organizations. So some organizations that have received grants through this are the African American Shakespeare Company, as well as Castle of Our Skins, which Castle of Our Skins was actually an organization that we talked about last concert. So they really help these small organizations grow so that with places like this, we can actually hear about them and then we can donate to them too. So your contributions to the Black Arts Future Fund goes towards their general funding of these grants. So please donate. I believe there's a link somewhere in the chat. Molly donated $30 to match that donation. I'll be matching that donation. You guys should too.
My name is Mathew Krejci, professor of flute at the University of the Pacific. Porgy and Bess was written in 1935 by George Gershwin. It featured an all-black, classically trained cast, very provocative for its time. Todd Duncan was the original Porgy, and a 20-year-old Anne Brown was Bess. She was the first black vocalist admitted to the Juilliard School. She wrote to Gershwin asking for an audition that would ultimately land her the role of Bess. A 1952 production featured Leontine Price, William Warfield, Cab Calloway, and a very young Maya Angelou. A 1976 Houston Opera production vaulted Porgy and Bess into mainstream opera repertoire for the first time. One of its most famous songs was Summertime. The version you will hear today is Professor Grimm and me channeling our jazzy selves. I don't improvise, one of the great disappointments of my musical life and education. I can only hope that my recreation of this improvised solo by one of the great giants of American jazz, Charlie Parker, reflects the artistry of that musician. Parker, born in 1920, cut his teeth playing in the bars of Kansas City, Missouri, where he was born. In 1942, he moved to New York and attracted the attention of Dizzy Gillespie, one of the pioneers of bebop. Alcohol and heroin took a toll on his life, and he died in 1955. A true legend passed away at the age of 35. Clint Eastwood paid tribute to this tortured genius in his film Bird, available on YouTube.
I'm very excited that 2878 was able to have another, we'll create another performance of Björk, which we originally premiered back in January for the 2878 New Music Festival at UOP. And I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Braden Ross for putting this all together, and him and Andrew Markopoulos, who did all the editing for this video. And Braden is actually going to introduce the video as well. And we have a pre-recorded introduction from the composer Yaz Lancaster, who currently lives in New York.
Thank you, Molly. Yeah, like she said, we had a new music festival back in January with a 3-concert series, and this was on the last concert, which had a visual focus. So what we did is we commissioned the piece by Yaz, who is, now that we've worked with them, they're a close musical associate and really an amazing person to work with. And then we went ahead and we found a student in the Media X program named Benny. He created an animation for the piece, and then the two of those were presented together, the ensemble playing alongside the animation at the concert. So today we have kind of a combination of those two. Again, thank you so much, Andrew Markopoulos, for editing it. He put so much time into this. There's 13 people, so it was not easy.
Hi, my name is Yaz Lancaster, and I am an interdisciplinary artist. I'm currently in what is now known as Virginia on the unceded lands of the Kikotan peoples indigenous to this country. I've been spending a lot of time here reading and attending different anti-oppression workshops and finding time to write for new projects for artists like Hypercube and Beck's saxophone duo, to name a few. But yeah, I'm really glad to hear that 2878 New Music Ensemble will be presenting another performance of my piece Björk, which I wrote for them last year. And the piece was sort of inspired by this artist named Amine, that's A-M-I-N-E, and you should definitely check him out. He has a new album coming out, which I'm super excited for. And yeah, I just wanted to write something that is fun to play, and it incorporates a lot of moments or figures from other works that I've had fun playing as a violinist. So yeah, I hope you enjoy.